I am absolutely obsessed. I need to like figure out at what point I can harvest them. They're supposed to be red, I think, but they look like they're purple and green. So I'm assuming they're just not ready yet. I need to look at the tag again. The tag, okay, yeah, they're red on the tag, so it's definitely not time to harvest them yet. I'm just gonna keep waiting around for that. Next to that, I have 3 squash plants. Way too many. I should not have planted 3, but it is what it is. As you can see, this bed is very full. So I have 1 squash that is definitely ready to be harvested, and then a couple little ones over here. I already harvested 1 off of this plant, so definitely a steady flow of squash. This is a sunflower, which is still working on leaves, not ready to bloom quite yet. I've got some green beans down here, which actually I looked, and this one looks like it has some green beans coming in, which is very, very exciting. This sign will not stay up. Like, I swear, I've put it up about 1,000 times. The wind is too strong here for it. I need to put it somewhere else. Like, I think I'm just gonna screw it onto the wall back here, like right there. Okay, so something I've learned this year is that pill bugs actually eat our vegetables. So there's a lot going on here. This plant is not very happy. It definitely was infested with some sort of pest. What I saw was, again, pill bugs doing all of this. And I did not know that they did that. I did not deal with that in Missouri, but we do have a lot of plant. It's not really trying to grow up the trellis, which is annoying, so I'm gonna have to come out here and do some training. It's not the end of the world. There's still a lot of foliage, and cucumbers are a pretty hardy crop, so I'm not like entirely concerned. We have another sunflower here, which is so small it honestly just like looks like a weed, but that's a sunflower. And then we have more tomatoes. This plant is doing really well too. You can see there's like some random bunches just kind of all over. It's very exciting. I cannot wait to eat these. They're just so delicious. I have a really funny like smallest to largest situation with my cosmos. These are getting really close to blooming, and it's fun to see them without aphids all over them, because last time I grew cosmos, they were absolutely covered in aphids. So it's a good change this year. My little sage bush is doing very well. No updates for her, but she's doing great. And an update on my marigolds, they all have died basically, except for the ones in that bed. But yeah, I don't know what exactly got to them. It might have been the pill bugs, it might have been something else, but honestly they kind of served as a catch crop because a lot of my other stuff is pretty much unscathed by bugs at this point. They also died in this bed, and I've been like, as I can, grabbing the seed heads and just kind of like distributing them around. But yeah, not a ton of updates there. I do have, oh, calendula. This is calendula. It's looking okay. It looks like there might be bugs or something going on. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to kind of come through and spray them down. Oh, we do have a really big tomato on this tomato plant, which actually never got a cage around it. So it's just kind of growing wild, which I don't love. My cantaloupe are doing great. Nothing to report quite yet. I am definitely going to be working on training these to go this way because the bed is already very full because of Miss Tomato. So that's the general update. I need to do a lot of research on pruning tomatoes. I, again, have never had to do it before. This is an exciting change for me that I like have to figure that out because my tomatoes just like honestly were never this happy before. I'm gonna learn how to do that. But I'm gonna grab, actually I need to finish installing this irrigation kit because I started it the other day and then it was just like way too hot and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I've come out on a different day and I'm going to do more, but I wanted to do the first one so that I could like teach better and like understand how it all works. So I'm gonna finish that up and then we are going to go step by step for the next one. So it's been more than a couple days since the last time I saw you. We had some very crazy weather. Oklahoma is definitely giving us a run for our money, but we are out here ready to install some irrigation. I'm very excited. I just opened up the box. Let's take a look. Each Vigo irrigation kit contains everything you need to irrigate one garden bed. I also had a lot of extra tubing, and it also comes with garden stakes if you don't want to dig a trench. So the first thing we're going to need to do is grab this bag that contains the brackets that look like little U's. The only bit of pre-planning that you really need to do is deciding where you want your main water to reach. So for me, I have this first bed as my main water source right here. So what I'm going to do is actually dig a trench to go around to the back of the garden beds, because I want all of the water connection to be back there so that you're not seeing it at the front. But the first step is to remove these top bolts and switch them out with these. These are really cool because they just connect with the T-shaped object. These all have part numbers, which is explained in their explainer video, but these just get locked into here. You can move these, and then what you do from there is you install the on-off switch, so you can turn on some of the water spouts and turn off some of the other ones. Like for example, if your beds don't have things planted in a certain spot, you don't have to water the whole bed. You can sort of turn some off and on. This is the connector for your main water source. So this one will get this tube that you then just bend down into a U shape, and then that will connect also to your hose. With this, everything just sort of fits together. It's very, very cool. Also, like I was showing earlier, this is the T connector that goes to the water sprinklers. So those will just connect together like this. And then you grab your sprinkler and you put it on top here. And the sprinklers are nice because you can sort of change the type of water you're getting. So you can switch between a full-on mist or just a stream. I like to go sort of in between the two, but all you have to do is twist this here to decide how you want your water to be blown through. But literally that's it. This is the system, and they have these connectors, like I said, that you put on the inside, and it's so easy. And actually I was thinking that this system could work in a non-Vigo garden bed too. Like if you already have a garden bed system, like at my house in Missouri, I have a wood one. This would be totally fine to put on those too, because it's just this, and you just have to put a bolt through it to go in through your wood. So you don't have to have a Vigo system to make this work, but if you do have a Vigo system, it just is all one ecosystem and it works really well together. So I just popped off the cap and I'm just putting this on instead. Okay, so I'm at a place where I don't want to put a regular head, I want to put a sprinkler head, because right here I don't have anything planted that will be getting water right here. So I want to direct the water into the cilantro. We have these handy dandy sprinkler heads, and so what you do with this is you use the small tubing, and I'm going to insert it into the end, and then what I've done is I've just placed it where I want it to go in here. So I'm just gonna put it right next to this cilantro for this one. So I'm gonna take this tubing, and I have the option to turn this, so I'm gonna face it down. So I'm gonna take this tubing and I'm going to trim it about where it needs to go, and then I just insert it into the little hole. And now we'll have a sprinkler going right next to the cilantro, which I need to cut. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the rosemary that's on this end. I'm just gonna stick it kind of right in the middle of the plant, and then run this tubing